So this is a series of 3 stories that may seem entirely unrelated, but I promise they come full circle and they eventually work themselves out. So I was quite the adventurous little kid. I would wander around the neighborhood with my beagle by my side, sometimes behind me. She couldn't keep up. So one summer I discovered that one of my neighbors had a tree with peaches on it. Now I was a fan of the fruit, mostly fruit roll-ups, gummy bears, but I was also okay with indulging in some of the real stuff every now and then. And so when I noticed these peaches, it was a goal to get me a peach off that tree. So I started kind of casually sneaking up to the tree, spy mode. All of those Hardy Boys books were finally paying off. I sneak across the street to my neighbor's yard, which is really just me casually walking because nobody was outside to see me. And I take a peach off the tree and sprint, probably more like a walk, back home. Now, I've never been a big fan of the texture of the skin on peaches. The Creed Bratton style texture has never been something that I want to like sink my teeth into. And so I was gonna cut my peach up like I had seen my dad do on multiple occasions. I go into the kitchen, I get a knife out, and I go to cut the peach. I didn't think to set it on anything because, as I'm saying, this was many years ago. And so I take the peach in my hand and start cutting with the knife from the top to the bottom of the peach. I got stuck on the seed. I guess I didn't know that the seed was in there, but anyways, I was set on cutting through the seed. So I'm applying pressure, make it through the seed, make it through the rest of the peach, make it into my hand. I cut my hand trying to cut open a peach. My mom was like, Zach, you're gonna need to get stitches. And I was like, Mom, I don't wanna get stitches because I wanna be able to swim this summer. So we put Band-Aids on it, held it together for however long it took to heal. And now for story number 2. The summer that I was 9 years old, my friend and I were training for the all-important lightsaber duel that was inevitably gonna happen. We would pretty much duel with anything that we could find. Most of the time they were toy lightsabers, but occasionally we couldn't find those. So we'd go tear down a bamboo tree from the backyard and start swinging those at each other. But this day specifically, we were working with the toy lightsabers, Bibleman lightsabers to be specific. So we were dueling with this exact Bibleman lightsaber. He had one of his own. And we were going at it, kind of like 1920s knife fight style, where you're like holding hands and going at each other. I moved forward on him. We kind of like shuffled sides a little bit, and then he moved forward on me. The problem with that is we decided that this lightsaber battle had to be taken to the next level, and by that I mean like the next level of the tree fort. We went from the ground up into the tree fort, and so this new level, 13 feet higher, that we took this lightsaber fight, made it a bit more dangerous, and that was something that I later regretted. By later, I mean not much later. He pushed me out of the treehouse. Not like push, more like forced me out of the treehouse. That was a Star Wars reference because we were using lightsabers. And so I fell all 13 feet to the ground, breaking my arm. 4 weeks later, I had another friend over. We were trying to find something to do. We decided that the best possible thing that we could do that day was to play baseball. We decided that inside was the better call. We set up the playing field. We set up our bases. First base was the dresser. Third base was the bunk bed. Home plate was wherever you set the bat down. And second base was the window. I'm gonna state again that I was 9 years old. Intelligence was not on my side that day, or the 4 weeks prior when I was dueling with Bibleman lightsabers, or the year prior when I was cutting a peach. The teams were always me versus my brother and his friends. 9-year-old Zach was always a weighted team compared to the 2 5-year-olds and the 2-year-old. I was cranking home runs left and right. I hit the ball up onto the bunk bed. I go to first base. They get the ball down quickly this time because they had decided to station the 2-year-old up on top of the bed. That's when I decided that it was time to make my run to second base. So I take the step, I say run. The bases were maybe 5 feet apart. It was not a distance at all. So I take the step to second base, and I put my hand on the glass. Now, you know how, like, I think it's Remember the Titans, they break the window by throwing a brick through it? In this story, my cast is the brick. And you know how, like, people say in moments of, like, pure stress, like, everything seems to slow down? I can vouch for that. I could have counted every single piece of glass that fell because I was like, I'm toast. Mom's gonna kill me. I broke a lot of things that day. I broke the glass, I broke my pride, I broke my streak of consecutive home runs, but I also broke skin. Apparently upon hitting the glass and breaking the glass, sharp glass is gonna cut my arm. And so that's what happened that day. I cut my arm all the way to the muscle. Let's see if you can get a good view of that. Let's see if you can get a good view of that right there. Right there. And so upon noticing that I could see my muscle, I went sprinting to my mom. Mom was already ready to fight me for breaking something. Good way to keep your parents from getting mad at you for breaking a window. Cut your arm. It automatically makes you the victim. We get in the car. We start to make our way to the hospital. And I was certain to tell my mom this time that unlike the peach incident, I was willing to get stitches. Somehow I made the full connection in my mind that this time, seeing my muscle, like literal muscle, stitches were what was gonna help.